Welcome back to North of the Broad. I'm your host, Karen Wyman, coming to you from Higher Ground in Buford. I'm joined this afternoon by Aunt Pearlie Sue. Hi, Aunt Pearlie Sue.
Hey.
How are you?
Oh, blessed, honey.
I know you are. We're blessed to have you here this afternoon. You have a lot to share with us. You're here to talk about Gullah education and the Gullah Traveling Theater this afternoon.
I'm so excited. We've been in business, I guess, a little over 18 years. And I usually can tell by my nephew's age, because he was 17. He's 17 now, soon to be 18, and his mother was pregnant when we got started with the Gullah Traveling Theater and ASE.
And ASE.
Mm-hmm, Gullah education.
Gullah education. And I know, living here now, I'm originally from Massachusetts and I've lived here in Buford for 9 years, what an integral part the Gullah community is here, particularly in northern Buford County and St. Helena Island. But there are lots of people who are viewers out there who may be unfamiliar with Gullah, and so we're really happy that you're here this afternoon so you can share some history, which is very important in this area, and some of the wonderful programs that you're bringing to the children in the schools here in Buford County. So, you know, you've been in these organizations for about 18 years, you said, but share some of the recent projects that you've worked on and how you've been servicing the community.
Well, we just finished our Christmas production called Gullah Kinfolk Christmas Wish, Freedom Coming. So we bring all that history alive through musical theater. I have about 22 performers. Wow. And you see the excitement of what's going on the plantation. There's a comparison between the big house and the servants that's in the quarters. And so the ones in the big house here, you know, Master talk about if, you know, that tall Lincoln boy by the name of Abraham Lincoln was elected president, that South Carolina was going to succeed out the Union. And that's exactly what happened on December 20th of 1860. And so he starts talking about war. And so those of us in the quarters know that freedom is soon to come.
That's right. Different perspectives.
Different perspectives.
Right. I'm sure it was a lot funner and a lot more joyous, probably in the servants' quarters than it was in the big house.
Definitely.
Right. But you know, you travel all over the place when you have these performances. Tell the audience and the viewers where it is that you go and put on. We got a troupe of at least 22 people in your performances. How far is your outreach?
Well, I've been as far as Barbados, West Indies, doing Gullah storytelling. Just recently, on September 26th, I was invited to perform at the United Nations up in New York. I was out in California at the Festival of the Sea and at Hyde Park in San Francisco. Just returned from Houston, Texas, where this is the third exhibit of our Gullah exhibit there. It's one of their most popular exhibits. So it's traveled. It was first opened in 2007 there in the Houston Museum there in Houston, Texas, and then it traveled for 3 years to the top 9 children's museums throughout the U.S. and Canada. And at that time, they estimated about 1 million kids got a chance to be introduced to the Gullah culture of Buford County through it. And so this is the third time that they've opened that exhibit. So it originally was 12,000 square footage, so now it's 20,000. So we're excited.
Yeah, I was going to say, certainly. And you know, you've got a lot of new projects coming up. You're going to be running new theater productions from January 9th all the way through May 9th. And are those going to be here locally or again?
Around different places. You know, especially the month of February, people, you know, want Black History programs. But I try to remind people that, you know, we're African Americans 365 on the 4th day. So
we don't need 1 month just to celebrate. We should be educating and making people aware all the time.
All the time.
I kind of say the same thing about Valentine's Day. You know, like, can't we just all love each other every single day?
Wouldn't that be great? Yes. Oh my gosh. So I'm excited about that. And we're thinking about doing an encore performance of the Gullah Kinfolk Christmas Wish Freedom Coming. And I'm thinking about doing it because January the 12th is my 60th birthday. So I was trying to figure out some way to celebrate that. And so I'm thinking the weekend leading up to Martin Luther King's birthday might be a good time to do an encore performance.
Sounds like a plan.
So please look, you know, save the date, kind of put a little question mark. So
you know, one of the things that it's so important to share before we wrap up our interview is that why is it so important for Gullah education to be part of the curriculum here?
Because if Gullah history is left out, then South Carolina history is not complete. And if South Carolina history is not complete, then American history is not complete. And if American history is not complete, then world history is not complete. It is so important that we tell the story. And each of us have a portion of the story to tell. No person's part is any greater or any less than anybody else. But I think we need to tell the story. And sometimes it's not just the truth that's going to set you free, but it's the whole truth. And so if we truly want to be free, we have to continue to tell the story, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's the only way we can truly heal. That in spite of all the adversities that came this way through this horrible thing called the transatlantic slave trade, was birthed this beautiful culture called Gullah that truly is multiculturalism 101, because it is not an African thing, it's not a Native American thing, it's not a European thing, but it's truly, it's a, what we say, a we team. It includes all of us. It's the blending of all of those cultures that came together during that horrible time in our history is what Gullah is. So we Gullah kin folks, whether we want to be or not. You know, Mama Dim might not have told you that you had a cousin Pearlie Sue down here in South Carolina.
I do now.
But I asked your family. And so we have to understand that it's part of all of our culture and it's part of all of our history.
That every one of us is important.
It's important.
You know, and it takes a village, and the village is made up of people from all different places.
And I love it. That's what I love about America, because it truly represents the ideals of America, truly represents multiculturalism. In spite of what people may say, or in spite of what people might want, it is what the ideals of America stand for.
Well, thank you so much for being a guest. It's wonderful to have you on North of the Broad. We hope to have you back in the spring.
Please.
Hopefully when your schedule permits. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
We'll be right back with our next guest on North of the Broad.